Well, morning, fellow zombies. I am that screwed up emotionally and somewhat sleep deprived. I got for coffee, but other things happening these days. We were John C. Roseman, California. It's July 1st, 2024, 5:12 in the morning for Monday. Too many things happening in politics, but also in the weather is scary enough anyway. We got the rest of the country from Colorado Rockies towards the Atlantic Ocean going through flood stages, tornado stages, heavy rain as if they have enough of it as it is. High pressure still pushing, and we have other pressure systems on the west coast still pushing this stuff. So, yeah, everyone else is going to be having a wet July week. But if that's not the case, Central America and Mexico are going to be dealing with Beryl coming up on their ass. Beryl's a Cat 4 hurricane. It's already past the Elisa Antilles. So they're going to be heading into the warmer waters of the Caribbean. She's already a Cat 4 strength right now. Forecasters are saying that there's no chance for it to turn into the States, but I don't know. If it's going to hit the States, it'll probably hit Texas. But most likely it'll hit Mexico and some of the Central American countries and coastlines. So yeah, your guys are going to be nailed left and right on this one. Uh, I like to watch and get stressed out over the hurricane situation since I'm not there. I keep making rotten jokes about it. And I've made rotten jokes about hurricanes being traded for earthquakes. Earthquakes, we don't know what the hell's going on, but hurricanes, you can at least see the thing coming and either take preparations or just run around without your head and panic like crazy, and then deal with it when it hits, or when you're not in a situation but you're still running around without your head. I've done that too many times. Surgical retachment. You'll never know the scars. Yeah. So what's happening for today? Supreme Court is going to be shutting down for a 2 month vacation, 2 or 3 months vacation, and now we got the last decision coming down the pipeline. The absolute decision. It's either going to be making Donald Trump God or else he's mortal man. And in this situation here, we're dealing with a guy who's been flying around with wings solidified as wax. He thinks he can fly around like a god. But I also know what happened in the story of Icarus. What was it? I know he melted. Fell to his death on that one. Let's see. Icarus. Greek mythology. Okay, shall we get on this one? Okay, according to GreekMythology.com, Icarus. We all know who about that Icarus was. We heard the stories, but from what Greek mythology will tell me, to tell you, Icarus is the son of the master craftsman Daedalus. Daedalus is an expert craftsman who, whoever wrote this damn thing. Ugh. Give me another one. I'll take Britannica.com. Son of the inventor Daedalus, who perished by flying too near the sun with waxen wings. See Daedalus. Okay, so I'll switch on Daedalus. Daedalus was an architect, sculptor, inventor. Built many things, including the paradigmatic labyrinth for King Minos of Crete. However, what I'm looking for right now is the thing concerning about his son, that Icarus had invented wings. I really, really got to get a book on Greek mythology and just to go through this thing, you know? I lost that one. I hated it. I hated losing books like that, losing knowledge. It was just But anyway, his son was too energetic, too crazy, and he decided he was going to fly into the sun. Daedalus warned him, "Don't do this. The wax will melt." "Oh, don't worry about it. I'm just going to go around in the sun a few times and come right back. Yeah, that's no problem." Oh, jeez. The closer he got to the sun, the more the wings, the feathers had melted off. And then, oof, yeah. Actually, he didn't go onto the ground. He just fell into the water and then drowned. I think Neptune was a little, or Poseidon, if I'm going to be using the Greek name on him. Poseidon was a little ticked off at him at that point. Probably came over to Daedalus and says, "Daedalus, I got something for you. This is the remains of your son that just got fell into my water here. You want to tell me about what's going on?" Dear God, I got. Relax, relax. I'm just here to return your son, but I need the story on this one, pal. I invented the wings. I told him, don't fly too high. But he wanted to fly into the sun. Oh, he didn't. He did. The wings, the wax melted, and that's how I got the remains. I draped him with this cloth here. Oh, thank you. It's royal. It's just cloth recovered from the sea. I thought it'd be appropriate. Besides, I don't think you want to see the remains right now. You're going to need to get them buried. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Actually, according to the story, I mean, I made that up, that concerning the visitation, but according to what the Britannica was telling me about, Icarus, however, flew too near the sun, wings melted, he fell into the sea and drowned. The island on which his body was washed ashore was later named Icara, Icaria, for Icarus. I know it's a little short story on that one there, but it kind of reminds me of Trump. Politics is giving him too much at this point, where he thinks he's immortal. He thinks he's been dipped into the river of Styx up to the ankle, to a portion. We all know what happened to Achilles. We don't know what happened to Achilles. Oh, good lord. Achilles, his mother. What was it, Achilles? Let me get in on that one. Let me get into that one, please. Thank you. Achilles. 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 Okay, so if you ever read the story of the Iliad or even about the Trojan War or even the story of Odyssey, Achilles was one of those heroes that was brought into the Greek war. He was one of the friends of, what the hell was it? Pelis? No. Homer? Agamemnon? No, it wasn't it. Jeez. I'm going to be a little, I'm just be driven crazy at this point over here. Where was it again? I don't remember what's reading the stamp thing. Somebody got dragged into one thing or another. I think it was fighting for Agamemnon at this point. Yeah. Agamemnon was trying to get into the city of Troy. There was a long story on this one concerning about the Trojan War. I wish I could really talk about this one, but it's a lot. I'm going to have to find the PDF files on this one. But basically, we heard about Helen of Troy. Helen of Troy was I think, a daughter of Agamemnon. She fell in love with a kid in the city of Troy, and they were going to get married. Agamemnon says, "No, you don't. Not the Trojan. Well, then what are you going to do? She's ours. Okay, that's it. Let's have a war. So about 10 years of fighting over one girl is getting older and older. From a kid to a teenage woman to a lovely woman during that time. According to what Homer was writing about. The works of the Iliad and the Odyssey are fundamental in our understanding of Greek mythology and how things relate to our modern day world, one way or another. Revenge has a way of clouding men's minds and driving people crazy to the point where you're throwing in large bodies of people against insurmountable odds, a huge brick wall. And how did the Agamemnon's men get through it? Well, let's see. Trojan horse had a wooden horse created, supposed to be as a tribute, but it had a small strike force. Part of that small strike force's task was to open the gates so the rest of the main force comes in while the strike force did its job, whatever its job was. And Troy fell. But in the book, there was fighting among the Greek gods over the situation here. This was just it's a hell of a tale to read, I'll tell you. They made theatrical movies about this one, even television series, if I'm not mistaken, on this one. And even there was a movie in this century made over Troy. It's still out there on cable. It's still out there on streaming, I hope. It's a hell of a thing to watch. They even made television shows about the damn thing. Uh, Mentioned about it in a few series. I think Hercules and Xena series talked about it. But it was also about Odysseus coming back from the Trojan War and had to deal with a hell of a lot of things that took out his men, took out his ship, and he finally made it back home, penniless and looked like a hermit. But the hermit was actually looking at things going on. He was already forewarned that things were not well at home. He had to take care of business at home. But I look at Trump as not a hero, but as a tragic character playing in his own story. He allows his ego and people loving him like crazy that it would give him lift with his wings made of wax and ego and pride and arrogance and everything else. Flies to the sun because he thinks he can, like Icarus can. Well, the problem is Icarus got too close to the sun. The heat and the truth and light melted that away, and Icarus died from the injuries from the fall. It's not the fall that gets you; it's the sudden impact that kills you. Unless, of course, you're going to be falling from space down to planet Earth, and then you're really screwed on that one, aren't you? But in this situation here, what I'm trying to do on one of my channels is trying to get the information from the Supreme Court and see whether or not if we're actually going to be having Trump crowing like crazy as he's flying around the sun, or else is his reputation going to be crashing and burning, or actually just crashing into the water and just go ah. So everybody's on pins and needles on this one, including me. I just hope I don't get sick to death over this shit. But right now, there's other things that are happening. Other things that are terrifying, more realistic. Hurricane coming down people's homesteads and flooding them out, or massive flooding happening in the country, tearing apart more and more suitable land for agriculture and farming. Food basket being flooded out like crazy. more harshly than ever. But as for the stories that we have, oh, the stories that we would have. What I need to do is I need to go over to the Internet Archive and just get the stuff downloaded. That's what I need. Okay. What the hell was it? The Trojan War? No. Uh, let's see if they've got it. I remember reading about the Iliad in high school. I remember reading this thing a great deal, talking about it in class. It was very, yeah, it was very. But we just didn't understand what was going on in this one here, unless we read the entire collections. What was going on? Homer was very horrific. He was not horrific, but he was writing a lot of the Greek mythologies that we take for granted these days. He was a very busy writer. Very busy on this one. Alrighty, let me see. Also needed. Oh God, what's a Trojan War? I was mentioning it originally here, and I'm just screwing myself up on that one. I mean, the Iliad in itself was. Sometimes it was hard to talk about because they were. Oh, hold on. I gotta check something out real fast. Apologies, I was going through Project Gutenberg to get the downloads, and also through the Internet org to also get the downloads because I don't know, so I may be able to hold on and read material because I still think it's fascinating. Learning about Greek culture probably would help us out in trying to figure what we're doing to ourselves and why we're doing it to ourselves and what's in store for us these days. While the pundits will be talking, joking, laughing their asses off, and waiting for things to happen, I'm still reading and still trying to absorb a few other things that I need to see. I know a hurricane, I said it before, is coming down the pipeline. Some of the material I was looking at regarding YouTube, I wanted to talk about in my other videos on this one because to me it mattered a great deal. A friend online was talking about worst 4th of July ever. Yeah. The worst 4th of July was the year after I lost my big brother. It wasn't relapsing. It still scares me from time to time that I'm still able to relapse. It still scares me. But I am going to do that on a separate confessional, so spoilers.